Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. I started your reading and my shirt was all messed up. I don't even know what I did, and I was kind of embarrassed. It was like it was buttoned in the wrong spot. I looked really dorky, and I was thinking, man, I must look like that in a Gemini reading. So anyways, here I am. I'm going to do your reading, and I fixed my shirt, and I'm starting your reading all over again. So I'm going to look very closely and deeply at you, Cancer. I'm going to do that with the L key deck. What do you have at the bottom? You have She Who Guides, New Path, Guide, and Renewal. She Who Emerges, Mindfulness, Rise Up, Enlightenment, She Who Uplifts. Oh my God, you're just everything right now. So many cards in the upright. We're going to use the L key. We're going to use the Book of Shadows Tarot Volume 2, teeny tiny Everyday Witch. Are we ready for this? I think I need my glasses. It's really dark here. The weather is crazy. Like this time last week, it was a big snowstorm. Temperatures were dropping incredibly fast into the -20 wind chills. We got quite a bit of snow. It's pretty much all gone now. It's like 10 degrees out plus, and it's raining. It's a nutso, but it's dark. Oh, I can see. So, yo are the last reading on my channel for 2022. What do you think about that? That's pretty cool, right? I was just sitting here thinking that. You're the last reading for 2022, Cancer. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So, let's see. Did I tell you what I'm doing? Maybe it's kind of like that. That's it. 2022. Bye-bye. Farewell. So long. You can go with 2021, 2020. All of them. I want to say the last 10 years. Shoot them all away. All right, Cancer. Who you really are, the mask you wear, or how people mostly perceive you, why you hide your true self, how this affects your relationships, advice for you, outcome if you follow the advice. So that's what we're talking about. Who you really are. She who surrenders. Chains, bondage, release. You're mourning. I don't know. This card looks like it's a bit of mourning. Surrendering to a loss. That's what that feels like. Surrendering to a loss of some sort. Now, the mask that you hide behind, or, you know, how people perceive you mostly. She who is wild, untamed, wild, and mysterious. Boy, you're really, you know, you're the crab, the Cancer. You definitely, what's going on the inside is not what people are seeing on the outside. Whew. These are very different energies. You are not an open book. I'll tell you that, Cancer. Why would I expect anything different, though, honestly? It's almost like internally something chains you down, like maybe emotionally here, psychologically. But I want to say, because this is what people are mostly perceiving, like you have this wild kind of flowing energy about you. I'm going to say, I think this card has come out a few times now, maybe even in this very spot. And what's curious about that, to me, is I almost feel like the collective is not showing a lot of people what's going on the outside. Like you're very different than what's happening. And then it's, if I want to say that's happening on a collective's level, I feel like Cancer, yours is even like more pronounced. Because this is like someone who's in mourning, sitting on these steps, holding this old letter to her chest. It's maybe even having received some bad news, but nobody would know. Because it almost feels like, to me, like, and I'm just going to say, because we're working with the like women depicted in here. And, you know, actually, no, I will. Because it could be guys, too. It's almost like you've got a bunch of people coming over for dinner. And you just get an email or a text. And it's very heartbreaking news. Or it's something very disappointing. Like, get yourself out there. And then you're hosting again. Like, that's almost what that feels like. Yeah, I'm out here. I'm doing what I gotta do. I'm flowing. But you know what I'm getting to is the mysterious. There's something about this. I picked this up a bit in Gemini. I know y'all come and watch like your sun and moons and rise and stuff. Some of you watch all of them. And because it's almost like, but this doesn't seem quite, there's something that people are noticing about it because it doesn't seem quite right. Almost like it's overcompensating. Overcompensating. Too free and fancy and happy. Right inside here, this is... Shit. This looks like someone who is caught in something too, right? Chains, bondage, release. I hope you are, because it's also giving me the impression of someone who, like, let's say is in a toxic relationship, or even, I really hope not, but an abusive relationship of some sort, right? Like, that's what's going on inside. That's who this person is. But then here they look wild and free, mysterious. They can do whatever they want. But it's almost like something has a hold on you. You know when somebody is trying, you can just tell. I don't know, I can. I think I can. So I'm asking. Because I feel, when I'm about to say, I feel like this is something that could be showing up. People could be noticing this about you and they're like, what's going on? Someone seems like they're trying too hard to be happy. Could be here. Because there's something going on, right? That's mysterious. It's almost like, why is Cancer acting like that? It's a little bit not in their character. It's a little, it's different. All right, well, why you hide your true self? What's going on? She who begins, launch, actualize, and potential. Well, geez, you're really freeing yourself from something here. You feel free, I think. But it's almost like you're hiding this part of you that is bound, that is chained. How does this affect your relationships? She who persists. Perspective, defiant, and persistent. What is this? This really is feeling like somebody who's in some sort of a situation. And I'm getting, it's just triggering me culturally because she has the headscarf, right? Like there could be something culturally here. And it could be like really in any culture where there's something that has got you chained and bound here. Releasing it. It's defiant. Whoa, yeah, there. Shit. Yeah, that's what the minute I looked at this, I said, no, it's defiance. That's what it is, Cancer. It's defiance. And that's how it shows up in your relationships. You're defiant against something that perhaps is or tries or continues to try to bind and chain you. Defiance, yes, that's what I would say I see here for Cancer. And it's still got that little bit of a feeling of maybe slightly over the top. You know, I'm picturing a wild horse in a paddock or in a small fenced-in area, and he's trapped in there. He can't get over, but he's certainly kicking it up and showing what he can do. That's what I'm feeling there. It's like, you know you can't get out of there. So why are you acting that way? Because you can't hold me down. That's interesting. So you're persistent with whatever I feel like binds you. So this part of you, I feel like, is masking something that we don't see. I don't see it here yet. Because why do you hide your true self? Who you really are is not actually like necessarily all parts of you. Because you somehow do wish to free yourself from something. This could be like your parents having an ideal about who you should become. I just like the look on her face. I just find it very captivating, this deck. Defiant is definitely the key word that I would put in like the expression on her face. It's a combination of hurt, defiance, sorrow, and anger. So what's your advice? She who prepares, formulate, strategize, devise. It's really interesting. I mean, it's like, it feels like somehow like an enslavement in something. It feels like an enslavement in something. Like I'm literally, and I hope it doesn't trigger anybody, but I'm literally like seeing somebody who's chained, you know, their rights have been denied somehow. Their human right has been denied somehow. Their human right to some form of, not some form, to just a form of freedom. And you're like, it's almost like the universe sees this and has your back in it. Because the universe is telling you, formulate, strategize, and devise, prepare. And this defiant persistence, again, this is like you can knock me down physically, but you can't defeat my spirit. That's where I get here too. But you can't defeat your spirit. And at first, when I was looking at this, you know how I get like my metaphors and the stories will play out in my head. At first, I was kind of like seeing like a dog that had done really well for his owner. But then I said, no, I don't want to put this on an animal, because this is like such a human experience that I'm picking up. And honestly, it is kind of like someone who's been enslaved, somebody whose rights have been taken away from them. And like literally being trapped in this, but, you know, chained up and observing, knowing what's happened, knowing what's been done to them, and almost like observing the person or people going about their day doing this. And then that's part of the key to the advice for you, is to prepare, formulate, strategize, devise. Pay attention to where they hang up the key. What do they do after they hang up the key? How easily are they distracted after they hang up the key, right? The key that unlocks whatever has. Because that's what the universe is telling you to do, is to prepare yourself to get that key, unlock it, remove the chains, and run like a motherfucker. Just run. How come if you follow the advice? She who rises up, empower, uplift, and elevate. Damn, yeah. It's like an Uncle Tom's Cabin. I don't know if you ever read that. I think that was the last book of that genre that I read. I just couldn't read it anymore. I was so mad. Yeah, something's going on here. Because who you are right now, right? Like, this isn't like the bigger picture of you in your life. This is where you are in a broader sense. Unless this is repeated patterns of some form of bondage or, I don't know, unfair commitments. Yeah, you can knock you down, but you can knock you down physically, but you can't knock down your spirit. And the universe is telling you to strategize and prepare. And if you do that, you shall rise up. Cancer, you shall rise up, empower yourself, uplift and elevate yourself from whatever situation you find yourself in. Oh, damn. She who avenges is on the bottom. Revenge, outcomes, and justice. She who questions, curiosity, destiny, and search. I like that. I love that. God, I'm really seeing this person like get the key to something that's something or someone that's had them locked up, unlocking it and running. And that's the revenge. And then finding yourself on a path, right? On a path. And almost like suddenly having authority in the direction of your life. Searching for your destiny. Being curious about where. She who waits, patience, waiting, determination. Well, you might have to sit on the shore and wait for a boat to come by. I've seen that, like someone running over a bridge and getting past a point. Now, it almost feels like, again, it feels like something like, it's just playing out in my mind like that. And it's just the energy of it. It's obviously probably not. But, you know, even like when slavery was still around and there were certain states, if you could get over that line, it's just that sense of, you got over that line, whatever it represents. If it's a legal obligation, if it's, blocking family members or friends, I don't know what it could be. But it's something that controls you, binds you, tries to knock you down, but it cannot knock down your spirit. And the universe is something's not right, because the universe is literally telling you to strategize and devise and uplift yourself here. And this will avenge you. And then once you get past that point, you can be curious about life. You can search for your own destiny. But then she who waits, wait. It's almost like a big climax, and then you wait. Like you get to the other side. Let's just say it's a state line. Like it's just how it feels. It's a state line. You get to the other side and you're curious. What is my destiny? What is my fate? It's in my hands, finally. And there's a shore and there's a sign. There's a ferry that comes by. But it doesn't come by for another 2 days. So what is this like? Oh, okay. Interesting. That's life though, right? Like you get to this climax and like, okay, now it starts. This is it. Interesting. I'm watching on Netflix. I think it's called Our Universe. Something like that. It's narrated by Morgan Freeman. I don't know what his voice. I just love his voice. He sounds like God to me. I think he did play God's voice in a movie. But watching this, I always find it so fascinating, like how long it takes things to happen. And you think about your own life, you're like, oh shit, it's not that long. It's not that long. Not like billions of years. Let's put a tarot card to each of these. So interesting. I get this feeling Cancer too. I feel like with your energy, I feel like there's always like these karmic threads around you. I don't know how to explain that when I do your readings. Like there's these karmic threads around you. Oh, look at all, yeah, look at like all the threads or whatever around her arms. That's it. But look at, she got nothing around her arms. She's looking at a book. She's having a glass of whatever it is you want to have a glass of. That's the best revenge. Who you really are right now. The Four of Pentacles. Oh, fuck. Right? Looking in the cupboard. This is the Four of Pentacles is somebody who is containing their energy, who is planning for possibly hard times, but you're doing that either because you've been through hard times, so it's your natural reaction, or you anticipate hard times coming, so you're preparing for it. But whatever it is, it's contained, very contained. That's who you really are here. You're very contained. I want to even say it also to me has the feeling of someone that I would describe who is doing either, like it's almost like a house arrest. A house arrest or somebody who's doing time on weekends. You know what I mean? Like there's parameters around your freedom here and they're tight. There's something going on around you that has control over you somehow, has control over your freedom of movement, your ability to expand and grow and move. Or you could be looking after a family member as well. The mask you're hiding behind is wild, untamed, and mysterious. The Eight of Swords. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's almost, as soon as I put that down beside there, I saw that like wild stallion trapped in this fenced-in area. Now, the Eight of Swords, we kind of tell ourselves we can't do something, or we can't achieve something, or we can't move towards something. I feel like, though, because of who you really are, there is something here containing you. I feel like there's some truth to that Eight of Swords. It's not something you've just convinced yourself of. But again, it doesn't matter how many things tell you you can't, or how many people tell you you can't. They can push down your body, right? Like the person is sitting, they look exhausted, but not your spirit. Why you hide your true self? Launch, actualize, and potential. With the Emperor. Strategy. Oh, yeah, strategy. Because I want to say, like, launching, actualizing, and really going after your potential here with the Emperor, considering that you seem to be in a situation that is a little precarious or you're tightly bound. That is definitely strategizing. You're showing an interesting form of leadership here. The Emperor. The Emperor could be someone controlling around you too. Why you hide your true self? Someone has control over you. I mean, this could even be a boss, right? It could be a job that you have no alternative You have to pay your bills. You don't want to be homeless. How does it affect your relationships? Perspective, defiant, and persistent. Judgment. Oh. God, I love this reading. I'm getting so many things popping into my head. It's like little movies going on. This one here, and Jocelyn too. She's okay. It just reminds me perhaps of and sitting at an altar. Like it just bang. Like it was almost like a young Jewish girl, being told not to pray, or anybody who has their own spiritual practice. Yeah. And then, so it is almost like you find your corner, you find your space, you still do what perhaps someone is telling you not to do. This reading really has a lot to do with your inner spirit. I wanted to see you. Oh, watch what you ask for, right, Cindy? Because it gets deep. You really, it's almost like I won't give up until I've drawn my last breath. With this defiance and judgment. I want to say too, like the way she's looking at me, her eyes, it just, with this judgment card, it is almost a knowing that judgment will be served. If it doesn't happen in this lifetime, you know it will happen. It's just like, something is wrong here. Advice for you is strategize, devise, formulate a plan. The Three of Wands. Information. I feel like some sort of information is coming your way. Use that to your advantage. Use that somehow to formulate a plan. Just because she's sitting here and there's a postman coming in behind her, right? With the mail. So there's information coming your way. Use that. Oh, shit. And what is she holding? She's holding a letter to her chest. Yeah. And here comes something. Something to release you from something. She who rises up, empower, uplift, and elevate. Temperance. Oh my God. That is totally like avenging yourself. And then finding you finally have some sort of control, authority over your own life to search for your destiny. But you got to wait a bit. You got to wait. You got to wait. Patience, waiting, determination. And I can see that though. Your defiance and persistence is there. You have to wait. You have to wait. I don't know. The Ace of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. Really, I mean, it feels like suddenly really being inspired and doing what you need to do to master a skill. Whatever that, I mean, that skill can be something to do here with life in general. I want to know why you gotta wait. I'm impatient. I can't wait to find out. Okay, why does Cancer have to wait to empower, uplift, and elevate? Why does Cancer have to wait? Five of Pentacles in the Wheel of Fortune. Because the universe is in charge of this timeline. There you go. Just like the thing I'm watching on Netflix there. Our Universe, I think it's called that. Shit, yeah. It's reminding me of the bear. I watched about the bear last night. The brown bears of Alaska. And going into hibernation. And it's fascinating, this program, because they talk about like space. Well, first it's really interesting because they talk about energy transformations, right? Everything comes from the sun, and how that the light from the sun is utilized by the plants. And I can't remember the type of protein, but there are sugars and protein in that. And then animals eat that, and they transform that energy into the flesh of themselves. And then animals that can't eat grasses eat that. Like, it all comes from the sun. But this bear hibernates for 6 months of the year. It's fascinating, but it's based on a cycle that, light signals that go into its eyes, and things start to happen naturally. And it's just like this bear is so naturally tied in to our universe and to our planet, right? But we pull out of that so often, when so much of our modern day lives, we're not connected. So that's what this is. This is why this weight is here. It is like a hibernation, you know, the Five of Pentacles out in the snow. So that's all they can tell me. Is it because it's the timeline of the universe, and you are part of the universe. You are stardust. So how many times do you get answers like that in tarot readings, right? That's why you gotta wait, because you're stardust. Go. I was like, who are you moaning about that one, Lily? Dog, I know you're like a big moan. Who you really are. Chains, bondage, Four of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, the Hierophant. Oh, that's interesting. What is this? This is an odd couple, isn't it? And I mean, what would you call that? Two bondage, and you have like the Hierophant card, like a marriage card. That's funny. So, the King of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords. This is an odd couple indeed. I want to say it is like cutting something out, like cutting out a partner, cutting out someone with authority in your life. Oh, but yeah, it just feels like that. This could be a father figure, a mother figure. It could be a boss. It could be a partner. And with the Hierophant too, these are partnerships, things like that we're committed to, that we're deeply committed to. And this is. With the Queen of Swords, yeah, this could even be a legal commitment. It's just the weirdest feeling of like someone who's under a house arrest almost. With this Four of Pentacles, I just can't. I want to say too that you're probably the type of person that does well to make do with what you have. So the mask you're hiding behind. Wild, mysterious, untamed, Eight of Swords. I think it depends on the day that people catch you on. The Three of Cups. On the Queen of Pentacles. What's this about? Well, now we have the King, Queen of Pentacles here, right? So, but who you really are is showing up with the King of Pentacles. The mask you're hiding behind is something to do with the Queen of Pentacles. Yo, okay, Cancer. Because the Queen of Swords is showing up here. That's why I'm trying to figure out this odd couple. I want to say, I feel like you're in some sort of an arrangement. Whether it's a marriage, I don't know what it is. A business commitment. Or just what people associate you with. They can't disassociate you is what it feels like to me. But it's not you. It really clearly is not you. But it's almost impossible to disassociate you from this. You know, if you had parents that were well known for something in your community and you were kind of with them in that and you grew and developed through that, I don't know, it could be a charity. I don't know what it could be, but it just feels like there's an association here, Cancer, that you have with something or someone. But honestly, it doesn't quite feel like you. Because this Queen of Pentacles is not the real you. It's a mask. So why you hide your true self here, right? Launch, actualize, potential, the Emperor. Man, this reading really has a feeling of like rules and laws and regulations and expectations that were all created long before you were born. and you find yourself in them. Why? The cards have been doing that lately. They just shove themselves into my hand. The Three of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles. Who you really are. You're somebody who has some sort of options here. You want some options. Yeah. I think you're working secretly at something. And I think that secretly at something is to release yourself from some sort of commitment. And the idea here is for you to have options. It's almost like you're not just looking for one thing that can replace what it is that you escape. You want options so that you can choose what it is that you want for yourself, right? That curious about your destiny and search. Yeah, that's what you want here, to have these options. So if you are trying to come up with a plan for yourself in some area of your life to give you more options and feel more freedom, I don't feel like you're telling a lot of people about it. I think people might see that you're perhaps frustrated or feel blocked. But again, I also feel like some people might perceive this as just a cycle. It's just a phase that Cancer's going through. I don't think so. How this affects your relationships? Persistent defiance, judgment. You won't stop till you have your new beginning. Well, there's the Queen of Wands, yeah. The King of Cups, the Death card, and the Five of Cups. Well, I feel like how this affects your relationships, it almost seems like, I talked about threads. Like I often feel like when I come into your reading, like karmic threads around you. And right, there's one last cut of that rope there. It does feel like you cutting out at least two significant people from your life. There's a lot of court cards on the table here. I feel like there's a lot of people that have a say in your life somehow, which isn't right. So how it affects your relationships, yeah, you were determined to cut something out here. And, you know, take the loss, I would say, with the Five of Cups. Your advice, well, I do feel like something's coming in. Use this wisely to formulate and devise a strategy. The Ten of Wands, the Five of Wands, the Ten of Swords. This is like a really difficult, heavy, long-term argument. And then something coming to an end with the Ten of Swords. Whatever this disagreement is, it's a very heavy burden. And it's almost like, but yeah, that is something that you would want to end here. I almost feel like you could start to identify yourself in some way with whatever this is going on. be careful with that, because there's definitely the feeling of like being victimized by something. You don't want to carry that throughout your whole life. An ending here, but it does, I really can't, I feel like a message comes in, either through mail, email, text. But the outcome is the empowerment and elevate and uplift, but you gotta wait, because the universe is in control of this timeline. Oh, I already clarified that. Yeah. Oh, the sun is at the bottom. Well, that's nice. That's nice. So the sun is at the bottom. What a really interesting reading. End the year, Cancer. My gosh. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I look at how to improve your relationships. What your deeper self would tell you about the mask that you wear. And how to release your true potential. That's fascinating. Thank you. Well, thank you. And you know what? Some of you could be watching this in the new year too. So happy new year to you guys. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side of 2022. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.